The Phillies are in the role of spoiler for the last 16 games of the season. The Miami Marlins are swimming against a strong current in their attempt for a wild card spot in the National League. Last night, the waters got a bit rougher and took away their big fish. Well, there may not be a better night this year to be tailgating outside of Citizens Bank Park with some cold beverages and some good food as well. It is a beautiful night, but if the temperature were to drop, well, we've got you covered too. And inside, we're getting ready for Big League Baseball. It's the Philadelphia Phillies and the Miami Marlins. And here's how the National League wild card race is shaping up as we head down the stretch. The Giants and Pirates are in as of now, but take a look at Miami at 71 and 74. 5.5 games back. They believe they still have a chance. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Phillies Baseball alongside Jamie Moyer. I'm Greg Murphy in for Tom McCarthy tonight, and you take a look at those wild card standings, Jamie, and the Miami Marlins believe they've got a chance. However, anybody that's been watching baseball over the last 24 hours knows that their chances took a pretty big blow last night.
Yeah, they did, but as long as you're playing, you still have a chance, and as you said, Murph, they have a chance because I believe if they can get to 500, they have a great chance of getting in. But you're right, losing Giancarlo Stanton last night, in this situation here, Mike Fiers throws a fastball that gets away, hits Giancarlo Stanton in the face, and again, this is a horrible scene to watch. I think we all realize and feel, for Giancarlo Stanton, because it's very unfortunate, but from a pitcher standpoint, this is something you do not want to do. This was not intentional, but really unfortunate. There's Giancarlo's father, who was in attendance last night. As a parent, that's got to be very difficult to watch as well. But it sounds today that Giancarlo has gotten the attention, the medical care that he needs, and he's home resting now in Miami. But here you see what the Marlins got from him thus far this season, these unbelievable MVP numbers, and he's leading the National League also in home runs, RBIs, and walks, and this is something that they will not be having at least for the next several days. And again, here's where it takes 25 guys to pick a player up. And hopefully the Marlins are feeling, and Mike Redmond feels, that his players can do that.
Mike Redmond said today the games must go on, and other guys are going to have to step up for a guy who's probably leading in the MVP votes in the National League. But another guy that has pitched very well for them this year is Henderson Alvarez. He'll be on the hill tonight, and he's a guy that has done some damage.
Yeah, Henderson Alvarez, a young 24-year-old right-hander who's thrown the ball very well for the Marlins this year. I think he's becoming to be known as an innings eater. He doesn't give up a lot of home runs. He utilizes his fastball very well. He moves it around. He throws a really slow curveball, a slider, a changeup, and he's a great competitor.
Yeah, he was a guy that threw a no-hitter at the end of last season. He's battled a little bit of injuries, but here's what he's done, Jamie, against the Phillies so far. He's been tough for them.
Yeah, he has been tough on the Phillies. As you see, 4 starts. He's got a 1-0 record. He's got a very good ERA at 2.03. He competes, as I said, with his fastball. In his game against the Phillies on July 1st, he threw, in his 17 outs that he recorded, or 17 of his outs were recorded on the fastball alone. He gave up 5 hits on it. And for me, the key tonight for the Phillies is figuring out what to do with that fastball.
Well, Henderson Alvarez has been very good, but so has the guy that's taken the ball for the Fighting Phils. Cole Hamels at 8-7, but look at that ERA, 2.56. It seems like every time you hand him the ball, you get a quality start. So a good pitching matchup tonight. And how about 2 guys that have played pretty well against one another this year? Chase Utley for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Casey McGee has done some damage as well. We've got lineups and the first pitch coming up after this. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com today to find out. Toyota, let's go places. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. And folks are gathering in the left field corner here at Citizens.
Curveball 89 with his cutter and 84 with his changeup, and he's got a career record against the Marlins at 9-13 with a 3.26 ERA.
All right, we're underway. The first pitch to Yelich is outside for a ball. It's 1-0. You mentioned Cole Hamels has allowed 3 earned runs or less in each of his last 19 starts, so he has been very good. That one is fouled back. It's 1-1 to Christian Yelich.
That's impressive. 3 earned runs or less in 19 starts.
He has been very, very good. You know, you look at the win-loss record, that doesn't always tell you the story. We know about the run support. We'll talk about that in a minute as Yelich fouls that pitch off. And Cole Hamels is quickly ahead of Yelich 1-2.
You take that effort back to 08, 09, he's a 20-game winner.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, even with those numbers, the Phillies have won just 12 of those 19 starts that he's had those quality starts. So, you know, as I said, scoring runs for Cole Hamels has been a problem, but he has continued to do his job. He's talked about it time and time again. That's all he can do. Go out there and take the baseball and try to do what he needs to do, and that's what he'll try again to do tonight. He's ahead of Yelich 1-2. Got him. Swinging. So Yelich is the first victim for Cole Hamels tonight. And it's time for our Nissan keys to the game. Jamie, take it away.
Okay, my first key is figuring out Alvarez's fastball. As I said in the pregame, 17 of his outs on July 1st came via the fastball. The Phillies, of their 6 hits in the game, 5 were on fastballs. So again, trying to figure that out. And then the other one is keep the fish from bunching hits together. A couple of the games that Cole's pitched this year, when they've bunched hits together, even though he's pitched well, it was just enough to beat the Phillies.
All right, well, Donovan Solano has stepped in, and first pitch to him was low for a ball. Hamels working quickly. Gets it back from Carlos Ruiz. 1-0 pitch. Fouled back to our right. Off the hands. And the boos come out. Boos come out early. You see Solano's numbers, 253, 3 home runs, and 25 runs batted in this year. There's the 1-1 pitch, and it's beat foul. So once again, Hamels ahead 1-2.
Well, I think Cole has really matured. How can I say this? He's matured personally. If you recall, he went through a spell where he pitched well this year and his body language suffered a little bit. And I think he really learned from that and really learned that, hey, if I can take care of what I need to take care of on the mound, the rest will take care of itself. And from there, he's kind of really taken off, spread his wings, and become that '1 guy again like he used to be.
2-2 pitch, ground ball. Freddie Galvis has got it across the diamond for the second out of the inning. 6-3 goes the putout. 2 down here in the top of the first. That'll bring up Casey McGee. He's got good numbers against Hamels, 6 for 16 this season, 375. He's got a home run as well. You know, you think about Casey McGee, and we'll get into the Giancarlo Stanton situation a little bit more as the game goes on, but this is a guy that I think they're going to have to lean on going forward, at least from an offensive standpoint and probably from a leadership standpoint, if they're going to be able to stay in this race in hopes that Stanton can get back.
Well, definitely from the leadership side, and you know, again, he's probably not the guy that, when he was with Milwaukee, he hit a few more home runs. He's more of an average as far as hitting for average, hitting behind runners, utilizing the pitches that are thrown to him, and continuing to, as we talked a lot early in the year, moving the line. He's great. Casey's been great at doing that this year.
There's the 1-0 pitch to McGee. Swung on, missed. It's 1-1. You saw the Giancarlo Stanton jersey hanging in the dugout, the visitors' dugout here at Citizens Bank Park. There were some frightening pictures last night. Saw those on the premier players in baseball. Down on his back as that one is swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Casey McGee.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but again, I hate to just kind of shrug it off and say that's baseball, but injuries are a part of the game. But when you see that type of an injury, you're hoping, number one, for his health, and he gets back and he can resume just a normal daily life activities. And then on top of it, you hope that he gets back and becomes that competitive player that we all have come to know and love in Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, he's really, you look at him, you look at Mike Trout becoming the faces of the game.
No doubt, as McGee lifts that one to right field. Marlon Byrd drifts back and makes the catch. So a good first inning for Cole Hamels. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left. After 1/2 inning, it's no score. Phil's coming to bat. First half of the inning, the first inning, and Phils will get their chance here in the bottom of the first. And tonight's starting lineup is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Ben Revere will lead it off for the Phils. He'll play center field, followed by Cody Ashe in the 2-hole tonight, playing second base. Chase Utley will bat third, play second. Ryan Howard batting fourth and then playing first base. Marlon Byrd playing right field tonight. Don Brown will bat sixth, playing left field. Carlos Ruiz, Freddie Galvis, and Cole Hamels, 7, 8, and 9. And they will be facing Henderson Alvarez, big right-hander, 6 foot, 205 pounds for the Miami Marlins. Just 24 years old. We told you his numbers have been good this year, 10-6, 2.88 ERA, and he has done some damage, Jamie, as well, against the Phillies this season.
Yeah, he has, and you see here that they're saying 92 to 96 mile an hour fastball, and he has every bit of that with a slider, a slow curveball, and a changeup. He's a career 1-1 against the Phillies with a 2.14 ERA, but a 4.09 ERA on the road.
And his customary start to begin the game. The first pitch is over for a strike. Ben Revere steps in. He is batting .308 with his 2 home runs and 23 RBIs on the season. 65 runs scored for Ben Revere this year. Pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-2. Outside for a ball. It's 1-2. Ben Revere struggled in the Pittsburgh series. Saw his average drop a bit. That pitch is outside. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot tonight. Tonight's contestant is Marvin Leadham from Southampton, New Jersey. If the Phillies hit a home run in the game, Marvin will win $300. Good Good luck to Marvin. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Ben Revere. Swung on, and that is a foul ball. Just foul on the right field line.
Well, Murph, you mentioned Ben's struggles in the Pittsburgh series, and he did struggle. And if we look back to when he was swinging the bat well and getting his hits, he was using the big part of the field. And I sense some of this. And again, you get to this part of the season, guys get tired, and I'm not saying he's tired that he can't play, but he's not as sharp, he's not as strong. All of a sudden he starts swinging around the ball rather than staying through the ball and hitting it up the middle. And I think that's where some of his struggles have come from. So it's just finding a way to get back to driving the ball back through the middle of the diamond.
He's worked the count full here, 3-2 against Alvarez. His base hit last night was just that, back up past the second baseman to the right of the second baseman, back up through the middle. There's a 3-2 pitch, swung on and locked it down the left field line. Yelich is on the run, and he makes the grab. So that's the first out for the Phils. That'll bring up Cody Ashe.
If you have to make an out, it's a productive out. It's 7 pitches. Again, you're trying to get Henderson Alvarez to get his pitch count up. These guys didn't get in at midnight last night. They got in at about 4:30 in the morning from Milwaukee, and they're trying to make a big push. So constantly keeping the pressure on the Marlins is key here tonight.
Cody Ashe steps in, batting .252, 9 home runs, 43 RBIs on the season. This is his 108th game of the year. Watches that one cross the outside corner. It's 1-1.
At 96 miles an hour down and away. It's kind of tough sometimes to stick your nose out there and try to drive that ball.
1-1 pitch swung on, and that'll hit out of play. Foul. So it's 1-2 to Cody Ashe. You see Mike Redmond, manager of the Miami Marlins in his second season. What a turnaround it has been for them. Almost a 30-game turnaround when it's all said and done, probably. He's done a heck of a job down there. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung on, and that one is laced down the right field line, and that's him up off the wall, and Cody Ashe is going to cruise in to second with a double. So the first hit of the evening is Cody Ashe in the 2-hole. This is 22nd double of the season.
Cody Ashe gets a fastball it's in, it's not in deep, but it's in. He pulls his hands in and gets the head of the bat out and drives that ball off the outfield fence for an easy stand-up double. And again, when you got to believe coming into tonight's game that you're going to see a lot of fastballs. If you've done any research on Henderson Alvarez's past and what he's done previously to the Phillies, and why would he change if you're not forcing him to change? So right now, I like these Phillies hitters going up, sitting on the fastball and trying to hit it hard somewhere.
Well, to bring up Chase Utley, batting .274, 11 home runs and 75 RBIs. He'll look to add to that. He takes that first one over the inside corner for a strike. It's 0-1.
Now that fastball there is in the top of the zone. And again, these Phillies hitters, Marlins hitters, when they come to the plate, they're trying to figure out what the strike zone is going to be as well.
Joe West behind the plate tonight.
Country Joe West.
That's right. I've heard him sing. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's high and outside for a ball. It's 1-1. Utley this year against right-handers, batting .290. He's got 8 of his home runs off of right-handed pitches. Ashe gets his lead off second. A 1-1 pitch is outside for a ball. It's 2-1.
Well, Murph, you talk about Mike Redmond and the job that he's done this year. Here's where he's, where it really counts. And I'm sure after the loss of Giancarlo Stanton last night, he contemplated, or he probably either had a team meeting today, or he pulled his veteran players in and said, look, here's what we have to do as a team. We have to come together and we have to play as a unit. Whether Giancarlo makes it back or he doesn't make it back, we have to go out and continue to play baseball and not get caught up in what happened last night.
Inside for a ball. It's 3-1. You're right. Right after the game last night, He was asked by reporters what it meant to his team, and he used the word devastating, a devastating loss, and he said it 2 or 3 times in the interview. And really, when you step back and you talked about the numbers at the top of the program, what they're losing from a numbers standpoint is impossible to replace. But that said, we do have 24 other guys on the roster.
Well, now with the 40-man roster's
yeah.
expanded, you have more than
that helps.
24. That does help.
Utley gets that one back up the middle. Echeverria goes across the diamond for the second out. Cody Ashley moves up to third. It's 2 outs now. Here's our Geico quote of the day as we talk about what Mike Redmond had to say on the Marlins last night. I've never seen anything like that. I've definitely never seen 2 swings called on those 2 plays. Never seen a guy get hit in the mouth and called for a swing. He's out there bleeding at home plate, and for the first base up to say he swung at that pitch, what a joke. And, obviously he was very emotional last night after it happened. Here, judge for yourself. What do you think? Did he swing through that?
Well, you watch right here. It does look like he swung, but his momentum carried it forward. Obviously, after he gets hit in the face, but you're relying on an umpire. You got to make that call in an instant, and you don't practice these calls in umpire school. It's a reaction to what you think you saw, and they thought they saw a swing. Now again, one guy gets hurt, the other guy gets hit. That's the gut reaction from a manager who's sticking up for his players.
Howard fouls that one off. Behind Alvarez 0-2.
And the Phillies have kind of gone through this a little bit in their past as well. Roy Halladay's got hurt. Ryan Howard got hurt. Chase Utley's gotten hurt. Now Cliff Lee is out. But this is part of the game. It's actually part of athletics. If you're going to compete on a team, you're going to have injuries, and you've got to overcome that. You got to figure out a way.
The 0-2 pitch is inside to Ryan Howard. It's 1-2. No doubt about it. And that's what Redmond said in his next comment is, look, we've got to go out and win games. They believe they're very much in the thick of things when it comes to the wild card race in the National League, and they have games to win. They have 3 weeks to do it, so that's their concentration now. And we talked about Casey McGee and some other guys that are going to have to step up for them. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Ryan Howard. That's inside and low for a ball. It's 2-2.
And it would be great to be able to see if Giancarlo, if he's healthy enough and has the ability to, and medically they release him, if he were to be able to come back this year and get a couple of bats, a week's worth of bats, but only the medical people will determine that. And then the other side of it, from the hitting side of it, that's got to be a tough thing to do as well, to step back into the box and talk yourself into getting in the box, and whether you have that fear or you don't have that fear of swinging the bat or that ball close to your body again.
No doubt about that. All right, it's a full count now to Ryan Howard. Alvarez has his sign. 3-2 pitch swung on. Missed, and Howard is tugged. Final out of the inning. So 1 man left on base, 1 hit, no runs for the Phils. And after 1 inning of play, no score here at Citizens Bank Park. Or after tonight, tomorrow night at 7:05 is German Heritage Celebration here at the ballpark. And then Sunday at 1:35, all fans 14 and under get the New Jersey Education Association Fanatic Oyo mini figurine and buildable dugout. That's through all fans 14 and under. You can order your tickets now at Phillies.com. Cole Hamels back out for a second inning of work facing Marcell Ozuna. First pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1. Ozuna 270, 23 home runs, 85 RBIs, and you want to find a hitter that is red hot in the National League, you're looking at him right now.
Oh, and he's homered in his last 4 consecutive games, so you're right, Murph. He is hot, and he's been a big part of becoming a table setter in this lineup and driving an RBI guy in this lineup.
He has done some damage against the Phillies in his short career as well. That one is inside for a ball. It's 2-1. He actually has a 7-game hitting streak right now. 3 doubles, 4 home runs. As you mentioned, 464 in that time period. So he is swinging a hot bat. That one's fouled back. So it's 2-2 to Marcell Ozuna.
Well, here's the stat that I like. Leads the major leagues in home runs with 15 and 40 RBIs in the 7th inning or later.
Wow. Yep. Clutch. That's swung on, and it's going to fall in front of Ben Revere for a base hit, so he stays hot. And first base hit off of Cole Hamels today goes to Marcell Ozuna. Right now, we're going to send it down to the third member of our team. Filling in for me is Leslie Goodell. And Leslie, Kodiashi has had himself quite a busy day, huh?
He did, Murph. Earlier today, Cody and the Phillies teamed up with AT&T to show some Medford, New Jersey students the tragic consequences of texting and driving. Ashley spoke to the Burlington County Institute of Technology students, then joined them in driving the texting and driving simulator. He also signed a pledge not to text and drive. Then he goes from his day job to his night job, and Ashley making just his 5th start this season, this month rather, because Michael Franco, since he's been called up, has seen significant playing time at third base. And some guys may have difficulty losing some of that playing time, but he has a great attitude. He said he believes in just being ready, that he has to go out there, do his job, and he wants to be a good team player. He seems to be really well adjusted about it. And as far as adjustments for the game, he said he doesn't do anything different before the game. It's after batting practice that things slow down a little bit, since he has a little bit more time to eat these days. And it doesn't seem to be hurting him, Murph. He's 6 for 15 so far with that double now this month in September, so he's batting .400 right now.
Well, you do need your nutrition, no doubt about it. You know, that sounds exactly like Kodiashi, Jimmy. You know, you've talked to him many, many times. And, you know, he handles everything pretty much in stride. He's one of those guys that you're not too concerned about the head. It's always going to be in the right place.
Exactly. You know, he had some struggles early on with some defense. He got over that. And, you know, I think for a lot of these young kids, and Michael's going through it right now, is trying to figure out, do I belong here? And I think Cody has gotten over that hurdle. Now it's up to Michael to try to figure that out as well.
Well, meanwhile, Cole Hamels is even in the count with Jeff Baker, 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That's a little bit. He's going to punch him out, says Joe West. He's a little nonchalant on that, but it's a strikeout for Cole Hamels. First out of the inning.
Good changeup right there.
Yeah.
He's not mistaken, through 3 in a row. The locations were slightly different. But to freeze a guy after throwing 3 in a row is quite impressive.
So that'll bring up Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching tonight for the Marlins. Batting .226 and 11 home runs, 48 RBIs on the season. First pitch, Saltalamacchia is over the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-0.
Now, Jared Saltalamacchia has done a great job against the Phillies this year, and he may not be doing it all the time with hitting. Early in the year, he walked several times in key situations to continue rallies, and then also has gotten a couple key hits. Called a lot of good games, throwing some base stealers out, doing what a catcher's supposed to do and doing it quietly.
He fouls that one off. He's a guy that won a World Series ring a year ago with the Boston Red Sox. He was a big part of that team. They decided that they would move on from him, and found his home down here in Miami. But he's a guy that sometimes suffers defensively a little bit, but offensively he's been very good. Pitch is low for a ball. It's 1-2.
I would agree there, Murph. A couple series previous during this season, several pass balls. And again, it's you need to work with your pitchers and be comfortable with them. But if they're not locating, you got to find a way to knock some of those balls down.
He rounds this one, and it might be 2, 6, 4, 3 double play. So that helps out Cole Hamels as he gets Saltalamacchia to ground out to Freddie Galvis and ground into 2. So after 1.5 innings of play, just 1 hit in that inning, no runs, no men left on base, no score. Second here in Philadelphia, and Sundays with Schmidt. Watch the Phillies finish their series with the Marlins with Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt joining Jamie and I in the broadcast booth this Sunday. Sundays with Schmidt is Sunday 1:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. See the Cabrini hat giveaway tonight, the knit cap that was given away to fans tonight. What do you think? That's a pretty good look for those.
It is a good look,
young guys.
And in a couple of months, they'll be coming in handy.
My boys love those hats. Absolutely love them. I grabbed 2 of them.
I thought you had one on when you came in today. Didn't recognize you.
It's getting to be that time of the year, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Hard to believe. Well, Marlon Byrd will be the first one to face Henderson Alvarez here in the bottom of the second. What a solid season for Byrd. 265 on the year, 25 home runs, 78 RBIs for Marlon Byrd. Takes that first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Inside for a ball, 1-1. You talk about Giancarlo Stanton being hit in the face. Marlon Byrd was hit in the face earlier in his career. He was with the Chicago Cubs. We went and watched that video today as he grounds that one to shortstop. Echeverria across the diamond for the out. You watch that video, and it's happened time sometimes over the course of Major League Baseball, but whoa. Every time you see it, it's just a scary thing.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with him about that today. And I asked him what the most difficult part of coming back was. And he said it was trying to convince himself to keep his front shoulder in. Because as a hitter, you need to stay on the ball. And he said when that ball was at his belt and above, you want to cheat. You want to get that shoulder out of the way. And he said the first hurdle he had to get over was a line drive base hit to right field by Dominic Brown. But he said that the most difficult thing was to convince himself to stay in. But while he was convincing himself to stay in, the ball would already be by him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a natural process for him. So he had to recreate that natural process to allow his body to stay there and then focus on hitting again instead of keeping his front shoulder.
I remember when Dickie Thon, back in the day when I was a kid, when he was hit, and not too recently Jason Hayward, who now wears that shield on his batting helmet to protect. He broke his jaw when he was hit. But It is hard to get back in there, no doubt. As Carlos Ruiz steps in and takes the first pitch, grounds it to third. That short way to second and over to first. Double play. 5-4-3 double play, just like that. And Henderson Alvarez is out of the inning. So 1 hit in the inning, no runs, and nobody left on base. After 2, still no score. Today, that young man, J.P. Crawford, receiving the Paul Owens Award for the Player of the Year in the minor league system for the Phillies. Luis Garcia was the Pitcher of the Year, also receiving his award tonight. Both young men having terrific seasons down in the minor league system. Take a look at JP's numbers, 123 games, 285 batting average, 11 home runs, 48 RBIs, 69 runs scored. J.P. Crawford joins us now up here in the booth. Welcome back to Philadelphia. You've been here before, but welcome back, and congratulations on a terrific first season in the minor league.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take us through it. How was the adjustment? You just saw how many games you played this year. It's certainly an adjustment from where you're coming from. So how was it for you?
It was a great experience, going to high school and not playing that many games, going to complete season, going 123 games. It's a big adjustment, going out there every day trying to play.
And the goal, obviously, is to be right here as Hamas is pitching to Ed Lucas, and he fists that one over to right field. Marlon Byrd is not going to get it off of his glove, and Lucas is going to slide into second with a double. Tough play for Marlon Byrd out there in right field. We've seen him make those plays time and time again, not able to get to that one. Let's take another look. What do you think, JP? Tough play?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah. That one falls in for a hit. So a double for Ed Lucas. So the games, getting used to that many games. Now, you split your time between Lakewood and Clearwater this year, and you had success at both levels. What was the jump like when you moved up to Clearwater?
Just the pitching was a lot more better. The pitchers were a lot more experienced, so it took me a couple of days to get adjusted to that, but after that adjustment, I was fine.
Not bad. After a couple days, I like that.
That's not bad at all. It must have been a real thrill to, just get that first season under your belt. But then to hear earlier this week that you were named the Paul Owens Award winner, a very prestigious award in the Phillies organization. What was the thoughts when you heard that?
It was a great honor, seeing the list of the previous winners. Felt honored.
Yeah, Dan Baker pointed out before the game on the Citizens Bank public address system, the second youngest player to ever win that award. The first, Jimmy Rollins, at age 18. You're 19 years old, but that's pretty good company to be in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know he's one of your mentors, one of the guys that you've looked up to over the years. Did you get a chance to talk to Jimmy at any point today? I know you have before. I know when you came up when you were first introduced. What's that relationship like?
Yeah, we talked today. He just gave me a lot of advice about coming up and just the struggle and how much work you have to put in.
It's 1-2 right now to Adeiny Echeverria. Cole Hamels settling in, and he's got a guy on second. Ed Lucas on second base takes his lead off.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled.
As you've gotten through this season, what do you think are the things that you need to become more consistent at to continue to make your strides as you progress through the game here?
I just think I need to work on being more consistent on the field and in the box. Not trying to take any at-bats away, just throwing them away. Just got to be focused every pitch.
1-2 pitch is fouled back. I heard you say earlier to some of the reporters that you're also trying to bulk up a little bit, trying to get a little bit stronger. Not so much, I would imagine, mass, but just that lean muscle, the strength. Is that what you're looking to do?
Yeah.
What's the reason behind that?
Just so I can start hitting the ball a lot harder and just being stronger.
And as we know, too, leg strength is really important. You're on your legs a lot as an infielder, a lot of moving around, a lot of agility around the second base bag, going in the hole for plays, going up the middle. And I'm sure you're a base stealer as well. So you got to have strong legs underneath you. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, every minor leaguer dreams of being in a ballpark like this, and I imagine those thoughts have passed through your head as that ball's outside. For a ball, it's 2-2. How often do you allow yourself to think what it would be like to be playing in Philadelphia? Do you let yourself do that yet?
Yeah, I think about it a lot.
Yeah, I bet. What do you think that's going to be like or will be like?
Like a dream come true.
You come from a very athletic family. Your father was a football player, right?
Yes.
And Carl Crawford is your cousin?
He's my cousin, yeah.
Yeah. So it's in the genes. That one is ground ball, tough play. Freddie Galvis has got no throw. Talk about a guy who can field a position as a shortstop. What are your impressions of a guy like Freddie Galvis?
He's good. He's real good. Played a rehab game with him, and he was down in Clearwater, and he's a good dude.
Yeah, one of the real good ones. That one a little bit out of the range. Was going to be able to get Echeverria, who runs well, down to first. So all of a sudden, Cole Hamels finds himself in a little bit of trouble here in the top of the third. Runners on first and second, nobody out. But Henderson Alvarez, the pitcher, will step in. At 213 on the season, 2 RBIs.
JP, has there anything that surprised you since you've gotten into pro baseball? Something that you weren't aware of that kind of really made you take a step back or made you readjust to your game or how you approach the game?
Just when I was hitting, this pitchers, instead of fastball counts, they throw me a lot of off speed. And it took me a while to get used to that this year. Especially as we played them more and more, they knew me a lot better. So.
And how do you adjust to the off speed?
You just got to get your timing right. You just got to see it earlier.
Alvarez is looking to move the runners up. He squares and bunts through that one. It's 1-1 to Henderson Alvarez. So the season's over for you, and now you look ahead to what, instructional league? Tell folks at home what you're hoping to do this winter, what you'll be doing in terms of getting ready for next season.
I'm going to instructs. Me and the infield coordinator, Chris Truby, we're going to work on backhands and making my feet a lot better in the infield, keeping them moving, and that's about it for instructs. And I go home, work out at my high school with Travis Darno and Aaron Hicks. They're in the major leagues right now. And then I'm going to go to the gym a lot, just try to get bulker.
Those off seasons go quickly, I would imagine. Jamie, you could speak to that. It seems like a long time right now, but those months are going to go pretty quick, I would imagine.
And you're 2 steps really away from the big leagues if you think about it. There's as many guys today going to the big leagues from AA as there are AAA. But you hit the nail on the head earlier by saying the consistency. That's really, really important. And it doesn't matter what position you play on the field. It's creating that consistency and also having that belief that you can play at the level that you're playing at and play with the people. And I think that's what, as you advance to levels, you're going to feel like the game is faster than what you're used to playing. But all of a sudden, when you start getting involved with the games at those levels, you realize, hey, it's not that fast. It's me that's making it fast, and I just got to let the game come to me.
Yeah, ground ball to Ryan Howard. He'll take the out at first as Yelich makes the second out of the inning, and Cole Hamels can see his way out of this after striking out Henderson Alvarez. Yelich grounds out to first. That'll bring on Donovan Solano. Home is California for you.
Yes,
right?
it is.
And so you'll head back after instructional league. You'll head back to California. And enjoy some time there. Do you ever stop and think you're a #1 pick for the Phils 2 years ago? There's some pressure that goes along with that, I would imagine. Does that ever creep into your head, the thoughts about what it's like to be to have those kind of expectations on you?
No. Once I got drafted, I'm just like a regular now. I still got to work as hard as everybody. Still got to compete harder than everybody. So I don't think about it.
Have they given you any indication where you'll start next season and what the plan might be for next season? I mean, we should remind folks, just 19 years old, so it's still a young guy with plenty of time to work your way through. But have they given you any idea?
No, they haven't.
Probably better that way, right?
Keep you hungry.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Count is 0-1 right now to Donovan Solano. Runners on second and third. Swing and a miss. 0-2 now to Solano, visiting with J.P. Crawford. Paul Owens Award winner this year for the Philadelphia Phillies organization. You've never got the chance to probably meet Luis Garcia until today, and his story is an interesting one as well, as he has really found his way in the Phillies minor league system. So it's such an honor to receive an award like the Paul Owens Award, and I got to believe that it's hopefully just first of many for you. And I assume that's the way you've got to look at it.
Oh, yeah.
It's 1-2 now to Solano. What's the best piece of advice you've been given as you've made your way through the minor leagues?
No, you just got to keep your head up. You have a couple bad games and kind of going through a slump. Just got to keep positive. Got to go out there the next day thinking that you're going to succeed. Just can't get down on yourself.
Sometimes easier said than done in the game of baseball. But yeah, that certainly seems like good advice. Well, Hamels has his signal. 1-2 pitch. Inside. They'll see if he swung. They say no.
JP, now that you're a professional, if there's a young kid out there, high school, college, an aspiring baseball player, what advice would you give a kid, say, where you were 2 years ago coming into pro ball? What advice would you give that kid?
Just play hard every day. If you're playing a crappy team, sucky team, you just got to play hard. You got to run every ball out. You got to do all the little things right.
1-2 pitch is low for a ball. Excuse me, 2-2 pitch now. 3-2, a full count to Donovan Solano.
But you've got to play the game, right? That's the important thing, is you got to remember to play the game of baseball. I think that's what it's all about. Winning, losing. The game never changes. There's always 3 outs to each half inning. 3 strikes, 4 balls to an at bat. But you got to play the game, respect the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Respect the game.
3-2 pitch is over for a called strike. Solano didn't think so, but it is indeed. So Cole Hamels sees himself out of the jam. Well, JP, congratulations. It is a terrific honor for you, and certainly well deserved. And we look forward to having you back in Philadelphia pretty soon. Maybe not up here, but
I want to see you out there.
See you down there sooner than later. Nice to see you, JP.
Appreciate
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Have a great offseason.
Thank you.
We'll be coming right back after this. On Phillies.com. Go to the fence section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Jamie, the question is, on May 29, 2010, which Marlin made the last out in Roy Halladay's perfect game against the Marlins? That answer will be revealed later in the game.
Perfect game. So that
perfect game.
Okay.
Freddie Galvis steps in and gets Henderson Alvarez. First pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1. Quickly 0-2 to Freddie Galvis. Galvis 134 on the season. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. Beats that one foul. Did come alive a little bit in that Pirates series, which was good to see. He's going to get an opportunity to play with Jimmy Rollins on the shelf with that hamstring injury. Folks from Cabrini enjoying the game tonight. Still some of the students. That one's fouled as well. Jamie thinks he has the answer. Alvarez gets his sign from Saltalamacchia. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And it's a ground ball to second. Solano up with it. And it's the first out of the inning. Well, we just heard from J.P. Crawford, and just a terrific young guy. The second time I'm getting a chance to talk with him. And Leslie, some of the players also got a chance to talk with J.P. Crawford today. I know you were down there. What was those conversations like?
Well, you can't help but notice, Murph, the air of confidence that he carries. He's very poised for a 19-year-old. And as you mentioned, he was talking to Jimmy Rollins for a while, and they spent quite a bit of time during batting practice speaking to each other. And while Jimmy wouldn't say much about their conversation, he said he taught him a few tricks of the trade, told him about some different things he's learned over the years. But he also noted his confidence as well. And I think that comes from having spent some time with Ryan Howard and Ben Revere when they were both rehabbing in Clearwater. So that was when JP was in Clearwater. He got to spend some time with them, and he said they did a really good job of making him feel comfortable and making him feel like he could be himself around them. And just when you think that this guy may be a little bit older than his actual 19 years, I asked him where he was living in California, and he said, well, right now with my parents, I need to get my own place.
Yeah, that's always the next step for the 19-year-olds. I have a feeling he'll have his own place pretty soon, will J.P. Crawford. But Cole Hamels, by the way, with the base hit there to land himself on first base. But, Jamie, I got to believe that when you're a young guy like J.P. Crawford, 19 years old, when a major leaguer comes down and kind of treats you as a contemporary, that's going to go a long way.
It does. I never had the opportunity as a 19-year-old to be playing professional baseball. I was in college. I went the other direction. But, yeah, I can't imagine being 19 years old, being a professional baseball player, and hanging around bona fide Major League Baseball players and feeling comfortable in my own shoes.
Ben Revere at the plate.
So, I think you really have to tip your hat to Ben Revere and Ryan Howard for allowing that to happen, and first of all giving them the time, and then treating them like we all should treat each other like human beings.
Now, it's not surprising that those two guys that were mentioned did exactly that. 2-0 pitch to Ben Revere, swung on and missed, and Revere comes up limping a little bit. Looks like maybe twisted that ankle a little bit. He's obviously been dealing with that foot pain for a better part of the season. Takes those big hacks. Sometimes it comes up limping. He appears to be okay. So the count is 2-1 to Ben Revere. Cole Hamels leads off first. The pitch swung on and ground ball to second base. They're going to make the play at second for one. They won't get Revere back at first, so they get the lead runner for the second out of the inning. Phillies baseball is brought to you by McDonald's. Any size, hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By the Pennsylvania Lottery, benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. And by Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. So 2 outs. That'll bring up Cody Ashe, doubled in his first at bat. Henderson Alvarez doing what he does best, getting ground ball outs. Jamie, 6 of them so far in this game.
In the 10 at bats that the Phillies have had against Alvarez, 8 of them have ended with a fastball. The other 2 have ended with a changeup.
Cody Ashley got the better of him in the first inning when he doubled. He grounds this one to Solano to his left, and he'll throw out Ashley. So once again, another ground ball out, and Alvarez gets out of the inning. We head to the 4th. Still no score in Philadelphia. Maintenance player specializing in all of your cleaning needs. WB Mason also provides a full selection of 3M safety products that can't be struck out. Who but WB Mason? Top of the 4th. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Marlins. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Phils. Someone is enjoying their ice cream tonight inside the Hall of Fame Club here at Citizens Bank Park. Cole Hamels out for his 4th inning of work. He'll face McGee, Ozuna, and Baker start the 4th. Casey McGee takes that first pitch outside for a ball. Swung on and hit hard. Back up the middle for a base hit. Down Brown will gather it in and will hold McGee to a single. Another base hit for Casey McGee against the Phillies. And that'll bring up Marcell Ozuna, and he is the subject of our Mazda leaders today. We told you he has been red hot. Well, look at the month of September. Runs batted in. Adam LaRoche from Washington also red hot. 15 RBI so far, but Ozuna is second with 13, followed by Gonzalez and Posey. Posey's been real good for the Giants of late as well. But Ozuna is as good as anybody. As we mentioned, 4 straight games with a home run. He singled in his first at bat. He steps in against Hamels. First pitch is fouled straight back. I guess when you're going as good as a guy like Ozuna, it's you're seeing that ball probably looks like a beach ball coming in.
You notice these guys are very aggressive early in the count, and they know that Cole's going to be around the plate.
Pitch is foul. Right over the camera well down the first baseline. So 0-2 to Marcell Ozuna. Jeff Baker waits on deck. Casey McGee down there at first base. He singled. Ruiz gives the sign. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and lofted into center field. Ben Revere has a beat on it back at the beginning of the warning track. He'll make the catch. McGee thinks about tagging. Good strong throw by Ben Revere. He has to scamper back. So 1 out as Ozuna just missed that one. The Phillies will take it. Well, the Atlanta Braves are coming to town. It'll be the final 3 games here at Citizens Bank. Friday, September 26th at 7:05. Saturday, September 27th at 7:05 is Goya Latina Family Celebration. And then on Sunday, final game of the season. September 28th is Fan Appreciation Day. You can order your tickets now at Phillies.com. So Baker steps in. He went down looking at his first at bat. Takes that one. Inside for a ball. It's 1-0. McGee being held on by Howard. That one is swung on and hit down the right field line, and that is in for a hit. It's going to go up against the wall. McGee is going to be held at third. It's fumbled by Utley out there, but McGee can't go anywhere, and that is a stand-up double for Jeff Baker. So 2 hits in this inning. Guys on second and third right now for the Miami Marlins.
I find that rather interesting. I think McGee pulled up maybe a little bit too soon. He got to third base, and I think it was assumed that he was going to stop. Chase tried to catch that ball, dropped it, and it got a little bit away from him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking maybe if McGee took a harder turn, see right here, he kind of slows up. Yep, yeah, now it's too late. You can't pick that speed back up. You know, he doesn't run probably as good as he once did, but you see the little mishandle here, but Chase alertly picks that ball up barehanded, ready to make the throw. But you know, that potentially was a run there. That's a big lift for Cole right here.
Could be a break for the Phils, but Cole's going to have to deal with Saltalamacchia. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. That pitch is high for a ball. It's 1-0. Saltalamacchia helped Hamels out in his first at bat, grounding into a double play, 6-4-3 to end the second inning.
Well, here's a situation you start to think about. All right, how do I want to go after Saltalamacchia? I have a base open. You know, look who's on deck. And I get.
Somebody's going to get a souvenir.
Ed Lucas is on deck, but Ed Lucas has been somewhat of a thorn in Cole's side this year. So I have a feeling Cole is going to try to go after Saltalamacchia here, and then base the results of that on what he's going to do behind that.
Yeah, Lucas 5 for 14 against Hamels coming into the game. Already has a hit tonight, so 6 for 15 on the season. So he has had Cole's number of late. So the count's even right now to Saltalamacchia, 1-1. Runners on second and third. Here's the pitch. It's high for a ball. It's 2-1. Infield is back for the Phils. They'll trade the run for the out at this point of the game. That one is fouled straight back. It's 2-2 now.
When you look at the way Cole is going after Saltalamacchia here, a lot of elevated fastballs, you'd almost think that he's trying to get a pop-up. Now with 2 strikes, are you going to try to elevate a little bit more, or are you going to try to throw something short and soft to try to get him to chase?
Pop-up would work. A strikeout right here would be good too. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, ground ball to Cody Ashley. Fair ball. He's going to come home with it. The tag, and he is at it home plate. What a play by Cody Ashley. Never hesitated for a second. Came home all the way and makes a perfect throw to Carlos Ruiz, who puts the tag on Casey McGee, and just a good defensive play helping out your pitcher there, Jamie.
That was an unbelievable play right here. It looks like a breaking ball that's in, and I don't know if Cody really was going to be able to set himself and make a throw to first. Carlos gets on the outside of the third base line, gives Cody an opportunity to throw the ball to him, and it's a bang-bang play, but give Carlos and Cody a lot of credit.
And as often is the case when there's a play at the plate this season, they're talking about whether or not Carlos Ruiz gave him a path to the plate.
Well, the path was created by Carlos moving to the outside of the third base line. Yeah, he may be blocking it there, but the runner's not there. Now he gives them that pathway.
Yeah.
There should be no question to that.
No question. And not only that, he moves in front of the plate because that's where the throw is going. That is allowed via the rules. So there really shouldn't be a question. And that argument is over. Joe West has won. And that'll be the second out of the inning. So a big out. A great play by Cody Ashe.
And that usually
down there at third
happens
base.
more times than not, the Joe West wins, by the way.
I have noticed that over the years. So 2 outs now, and once again, Cole Hamels can see his way out of this. And he'll take Ed Lucas will step into the box, as you mentioned. Lucas already with the double today. He's had some good numbers against Cole Hamels so far this year. The first pitch to Lucas is inside for a ball. So Stalemate is down there at first. Baker has moved down to third. First and third with 2 outs.
Well, for me right here, I'd be very careful pitching to Ed Lucas. Here's a guy who just tries to make contact, and he's done a great job of that off of Cole this year. Based on how he gets into this at bat, should really determine how he goes after Lucas.
Swings through that fastball right there and evens count 1-1. One pitch, fouled back. It's 1-2. So Hamels ahead of Ed Lucas now, 1-2. Take a look at Hamels' pitches by inning. A little higher than he probably would like.
Cole's had to work through this. And here, I think, here's where a hitter like Ed Lucas becomes a better hitter. Shortens up his swing, tries to use the whole field, and hits what he's given.
1-2 pitch is in the dirt. It's 2-2, trying to get him to chase.
I like that call right there.
Yeah.
Curveball in the dirt. And Carlos gets down on his knees, does not allow that ball to get by him, keeps the ball in front of him, keeps the Stalemate at first base, and still keeps the force out available at second base.
And the advantage is still to Cole Hamels. 2-2 and 2 outs. Runners on first and third. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him. So Cole Hamels once again works out of trouble here with a little help from his defense. Cody Ashe making the big play in that inning. He gets Ed Lucas to strike out, and no runs will score. Take a look. It's a good one as Lucas swings over top, and still no score here in Philadelphia. Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW for an appointment. And by W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And to the bottom of the fourth, still no score here in Philadelphia. There's Frank doing what Jamie loves best, serving up some ice cream. And Chase Utley, Howard, and Marlon Byrd to face Henderson Alvarez here in the bottom of the first. Chase grounded out in his first at bat. First pitch to Chase is outside for a ball. It's 0-1. Excuse me, 1-0. Chase got the night off last night. Ryan Sandberg saying he's going to mix it in some days off for some of these veteran guys as he takes that one on the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-1 as the season progresses with 3 weeks to go.
Well, and I like it because you got some of these young kids up here. You want to give them an opportunity. First of all, you're rewarding them, bringing them up here. You want to get them and see some action, see what they can do.
Chase Utley turns on that one, throws a line drive to right field for a base hit, so he's aboard with the leadoff single.
But it's always nice, too, to have these young kids up here to watch what some of these guys like the Chase Utleys are doing as well.
Chase Utley has been solid all season long. Let's see what Ryan Howard can do as he steps in. 0 for 1. Howard struck out in his first at bat. 222. 21 home runs, 92 RBIs. It's been a little while since he's hit one out of the park, though. Pretty good time for Ryan Howard to deposit one out in the seats. He launches that one low and outside for a ball. It's 1-0.
Actually, I believe Ryan Howard is the only one in the Phillies lineup tonight that has hit a home run off of Henderson Alvarez.
Well, let's make it 2.
There we go.
Why not? He has his leadoff first. 1-0 pitch, swung on, line drive into center field. That's going to drop for a hit. Chase Utley read that perfectly. He's going to head to third. The throw is cut off. He's safe at third. So back-to-back base hits for the Phils, and they've got something going here in the bottom of the 4th.
Ryan Howard hit that ball pretty hard to just to the right of Ozuna in center field. Chase read, you're right, Murph. Chase read that ball very well and hustled himself to third base. Really, he gets in there easily, overslides the bag. Unfortunately, the throw didn't get all the way to the bag. But put a little pressure on Henderson Alvarez and see how he's going to react in this situation. We've seen how Cole has reacted so far. So
got a little help from his defense, but Cole has been able to wiggle out of a couple of jams so far. So now Alvarez is on the hook. Nobody out. Runners at first and third. Marlon Byrd is the batter. He grounded out to short in his first at bat. That one's inside. It's going to get away from Saltalamacchia. And that's going to be our first run. Oh, no, they're going to say it hit Marlon Byrd. Joe West saying, nope, Chase head on back. That one clipped Marlon Byrd. And he'll get his base, so bases are loaded, but a bit of a break for the Marlins, at least for the time being. Take a look. Yeah, I guess.
He just clipped his jersey a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but okay. Joe West did. I'm sure he heard it.
You watch Saltalamacchia there. He just kind of reaches up with his left hand. And he drops his head down because I think he thought it was going to hit Marlon. A lot of times when these balls don't hit the hitter directly, the catcher can get some of that ramification if it's misdirected.
Well, Utley's at third, Howard's at second, Byrd is at first, and Dom Brown steps in. He's 1 for 1 on the night. He singled in the second. And the Phillies have a chance to break this one open a bit. That one is inside for a ball. It's 1-0, and all of a sudden Henderson Alvarez is struggling a bit. You see Dom's numbers with the bases loaded. Swung on and fouled off the plate. So it's 1-1 to Dom Brown. Marlins are playing their middle of the infield back. The third baseman Casey McGee is just up on the grass. They would probably take a double play here if Dom Brown were to roll one over that way. Alvarez has the sign. 1-1 pitch. Outside for a ball. It's 2-1. It's his lead off first. Saltamacchia goes through the signs. Tom Brown says he needs a timeout. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and lofted into right field. Coming in is Lucas, and he makes the catch. Utley's going to draw the throw, but not deep enough to score the runner. So Lucas came in a long way to make that play, but he's able to do it. And there's one out. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. So that was big out for Henderson Alvarez, getting that first out.
Yeah, the first look, I thought Solano was going to try to catch that ball. And luckily for Mike Redmond, Lucas got to that ball, because if Solano had to catch that ball, I don't think it would have been caught. And even if he did catch it, I think a run would have definitely scored.
His momentum would have carried him out in the right field, and it would have been a tough throw for him. So now Carlos Ruiz will try to pick up Dom Brown with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the fourth and one out. It's time. It's like Alvarez and Saltamacchia having a hard time getting on the same page. I guess with the runner down at second, signs become a little bit more challenging. And here's the first pitch to Ruiz. It's in the dirt for a ball. It's 1-0.
I actually think he was thinking about, if the ball's hit back to him, where he's going to go. Is he going to go home to first, or is he going to go 6-4 to 3 or 4 to 6 to 3? And probably checking with his middle infielders who he may be throwing the ball to. Probably 6 to, or excuse me, not 6 to 4 to 3, 1 to 6 to 3.
Okay.
Or 1 to 4 to 3.
Yeah, I thought maybe he'd come home, because you got Ruiz running, so you have a little bit more time.
That would be the conventional play. In today's game, I'm not sure.
Well, here's hoping we don't see that. How about a base hit instead? Carlos Ruiz swings and grounds that one to the shortstop, and that will be 2. So Henderson Alvarez does exactly what Cole Hamels was able to do, and the Phils unable to score. The bases loaded and nobody out. 6-4-3 ends the inning. We're headed to the 5th with no score. Stump the Fans trivia question answer. The question was earlier tonight on May 29th, 2010, which Marlin made the last out in Rory Halladay's perfect game against them? Jamie, I know you wrote down your answer relatively quickly. You thought about it for a minute.
I'm going to say Ronnie Paulino.
Ding, ding. Ronnie Paulino is correct. Hamels delivers the pitch to Echeverria. It was a heck of a play. Was that that was the Carlos Ruiz play, right, out in front of the plate, or was that for his?
No, that was
for his no-hitter.
That was against the
right.
The Reds
against
here.
The Reds, yeah.
Brandon Phillips.
Yeah. That one's ground ball to third base. Sashi across the diamond for the out. And let's go down now to Leslie Goodell. Leslie, what do you got?
Murph, now it's time for the timeless moment, brought to you by Coors Banquet. On September 12, 1972, third baseman Mike Schmidt makes his big league debut, taking over for Don Money in the third inning during a 4-3 loss to the New York Mets. At the Vet, Schmidt singles in the ninth for his first hit. 4 days later, he hits his first home run against Montreal left-hander Baylor Moore, and the rest is history.
Pretty good history indeed. We'll have to ask Mike about that on Sunday when he's here, what he remembers about that first hit. Thank you, Leslie, and that first home run just 4 days later. He always talks about how he struggled so early on in his career, but he had some pretty good moments in those first year and a half, 2 years as well in a Phillies uniform.
He's such a humble guy.
Yeah, he is. It's terrific, really. Henderson Alvarez serves that one into right field for a base hit. So both pitchers getting hits tonight. Hamels off of Alvarez. Alvarez off of Hamels. And that's runner on with one out. And that'll bring up the top of the order Christian Yelich.
Henderson Alvarez came into tonight's game with a .213 batting average.
He can hit a little bit.
With 2 RBIs.
He can hit a little bit. Probably not a threat to run, I wouldn't think. Yelich is 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded out. First pitch to him is inside. Talk about another guy that's been real good for the Marlins down the stretch since about the second week in August. He has the most hits in Major League Baseball. There's Yelich. Got his batting average up to .294 coming into this game. Batting .388 since August 11th. Here's the 2-0 pitch. It's outside for a ball, so it's 3-0 now to Christian Yelich. Cole may have wanted that one in the outside corner. Here's the 3-0 pitch. It's over for a strike. It's 3-1. Donovan Solano waits on deck as we play here in the top of the fifth. Jamie Moyer, Greg Murphy in for Tom McCarthy tonight. He'll be calling some NFL action this weekend. Ball is low, so he walks Yelich, and there's 2 men on with 1 out. Well, the most popular way to follow the September pennant races is with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Get at Bat for your smartphone or tablet on the App Store or visit MLB.com. 2 on. Alvarez dances off a second. Donovan Solano steps in. Fouls that one straight back. So there's a 0 on the scoreboard for the Marlins, but has not been easy sledding so far for Cole Hamels.
Well, he's had to work for everything he's gotten tonight, but well deserved.
Yeah.
Like to see him do it the easy way here and get a ground ball.
That would be nice. Already ended 1 inning with a double play. See if he can do it again. Solano 0 for 2 on the evening. Grounded out to short. Struck out. Alvarez leads off second. Yelich off at first. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on a foul back. It's 0-2. You see 28 balls, 50 strikes for Cole Hamels tonight. As you said, Jamie's made the pitches when he needed to. And Alvarez over there at second base. Active for a pitcher. That's called third strike. We need Joe West to get a little bit more excited about those called third strikes. It helped me out a little bit, but Solano goes down looking for the second time.
Well, I really think
come on, Joe, that was a good pitch.
You just have to become your own umpire and make the call yourself.
I thought it was a strike, but I figured I'd wait. So that's the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up Casey McGee.
Joe's been very consistent tonight, I will say that.
McGee 1 for 2. He swings and hits that one into the gap in right field. Marlon Byrd is on his horse, and he's going to get there. Closes nicely. What a route by Marlon Byrd. And once again, Cole Hamels able to battle out of some trouble. One hit, one walk, 2 men left on, but still no score here in Philadelphia. Night on Comcast Sportsnet at 5 o'clock. Jamal Jackson joins Philly Sports Talk at 6:30. It's Eagles Extra. And they're live from Indianapolis. And at 7, Brian Westbrook breaks down the Eagles' plan of attack against the Colts on Eagles Pregame Live. That should be a good football game coming up on Monday night. And the best coverage always here in Philadelphia, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, Alvarez is back out on the mound. First to face him here in the bottom of the 5th will be Freddie Galvis, who grounded out to second in his first at bat. First pitch to Galvis is over for a strike. Grounded foul. Juan Samuel makes the play. You're sitting in those seats, Jamie, you're almost guaranteed to get a baseball. At least that's been my experience. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's over the outside corner for a strike. You got him. So another strikeout for Henderson Alvarez, the first out of the inning. Take a look at the Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. The Mets and the Nationals in the bottom of the 4th. It's 3-2 New York right now. Travis d'Arnaud 1 for 2, a double and 2 RBIs in that game. J.P. Crawford's workout partner in the offseason.
I thought about that when you said it.
So Cole Hamels will step in. He's 1 for 1 tonight. Base hit back in the 3rd inning.
Well, that ball that they just threw out must have been a momentous strikeout for Henderson Alvarez.
Let's check on that.
Gave it to Casey McGee, who threw it to one of his teammates in the dugout. Put it in his pocket.
There's that
Ephus.
There's that Ephus pitch. There's that baseball you were talking about. We've got Carl working on that. Trying to figure out what that baseball is. How about that pitch, though? 57 miles per hour. And he comes back with the fastball. A little unfair to throw it to the other pitcher, isn't it, Jamie?
Actually, for some of us, that's right into our bat speed, Murph.
Yeah, I might be able to hit the 57. Well, he's ahead of Cole Hamels, 1-2 right now. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's over for a called third strike. So Cole Hamels goes down looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Henderson Alvarez, and that'll bring back the top of the order and Ben Revere. I didn't wait for Joe West on that one. I knew that was a strike.
I can see it. I told you have to start becoming the umpire.
Guess so.
You're a seasoned veteran up here.
I wouldn't go that far. Okay. We're getting there. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Ben Revere steps in. Ben is 0 for 2. Flew out the left in the first, and he was safe on a fielder's choice back in the 3rd. First pitch to him was over for a called strike. Alvarez, his tempo is picked up a bit. It's moving. Ball's low and outside for a ball, so it's 1-1 to Ben Revere. That one swung on and bounding ball to Solano at second. He's up with it and throws across the diamond for the out. So another easy inning for Henderson Alvarez. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Still no score.
Continued to dominate and impress during his first test in the major leagues. Ken Giles hit the ground running in mid-June and keeps passing each obstacle along the way. The right-hander allowed a home run in his major league debut. That was the last one, and he only allowed an earned run in 4 of his first 37 appearances. The 23-year-old with an ERA in the low 1s has found a comfort zone in the back of the bullpen. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless.
And the crowd seeing a pitching duel tonight here at Citizens Bank Park as we head to the top of the 6th. Still no score. First to face Cole Hamels here in the 6th is Marcell Ozuna. Takes that curveball over for a strike. It's 0-1. Ozuna 1 for 2 against Hamels tonight. Swung on and missed.
Tell you what, Cole has an unbelievable curveball tonight, and it's really been the equalizer against the Marlins. He's gotten some big outs with it. Right here, he's got facing a hot hitter in Ozuna, and he's gotten ahead 0-2 really quickly with 2 curveballs.
It's outside for a ball. It's 1-2.
Luckily, that ball stayed out off the plate because it was looking like it was going to be right down the middle.
This guy hasn't been missing a whole lot of those of late. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Ozuna. Swung on, ground ball. Utley charges, flips it underhand to Ryan Howard for the first out of the inning. So an easy play for Chase Utley. That'll bring up Jeff Baker. 1 for 2 on the afternoon as well, on the evening. Well, every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Cole Hamels able to do 1-2-3 one time so far at the second inning. It's fouled straight back. 93 miles per hour on that fastball.
I like Cole's just kind of reaching back and letting it rip tonight.
Baker obviously getting the start for Giancarlo Stanton out there in I'm sorry, no, he's getting the start at first.
At Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas getting the start for Stanton. Baker's able to deliver that one into center field. Getting ahead of myself. So 1 out. Baker at first, and that'll bring up Jared Saltalamacchia. You and I were talking to some of the broadcasters from the Marlins before the game, and they said that Stanton is back at home in Miami, back at his home, and in very good spirits, and has told a couple people already that he thinks he's going to come back before the end of the season. Now, that remains to be seen as that one's over for a strike. He's obviously got to continue to go through the concussion testing. So far, no indication that he has a concussion, but those kind of things sometimes creep up after 24 hours, 36 hours. So they'll be very cautious with that. But the fractures in his face were all non-displaced, which is certainly good news. He had to have some dental work done on the left side of his mouth as well. But all in all, he fared pretty good.
Very lucky.
He was very
lucky. But I love, what we were told that, he wants to come back and play. It's just a matter of the medical people releasing him to do so.
Fly ball to Ben Revere for the second out of the inning. And for more on Giancarlo Stanton, let's send it back downstairs to Leslie. Leslie, what do you got?
Murph, it's been an emotional day, 24 hours for this Marlins team, and Giancarlo Stanton is now in Miami, as you mentioned, and he has tweeted to the fans, "The amount of support I have received from you guys has been tremendous and heartfelt. I am much better today and deeply appreciate your prayers." This is a tired Marlins team, too, holding in there for their teammate. And as Mike Redmond said earlier, they can't stop right now. The game keeps moving. It doesn't stop. They're 5.5 games back. They have 17 to play. And he says, you can't replace G, but other players need to pick up the slack.
Some of the Phillies fans sending out some get well wishes as well to Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah, that's the key. What Leslie just pointed out is, and you pointed it out, Jamie, that you want to stop and think about Giancarlo Stanton if you're the Miami Marlins, but you also know that the one thing that he wants right now is for them to go out and win some baseball games to keep them in the hunt. And then if he does indeed, is able to get back at some point, then you would imagine he'd be able to help them as well. So, in the meantime, Ed Lucas will get some playing time in right field.
The other side of it too, as a fan, we want to see the Phillies win, but it's always good to see opposing players come in and watch them play.
If you're a baseball fan,
exactly. And I was very looking forward to seeing Giancarlo play this weekend.
Yeah, as was I. Probably your National League MVP at this point. Even if he doesn't play the last 3 weeks of the season, I would think.
And I'm sure there were many Philly fans that were anxious to see him play as well.
Yeah, like I said, if you're a fan of the game of baseball, that guy goes out and does it the right way.
And he's a special player. He has special tools that you don't see every day on every baseball field. So you learn to appreciate that and respect that.
Well, the count is 2-2 now to Lucas. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's high and outside for a ball. It's 3-2.
And then the other side of it, I think we're saying, why couldn't I be that player?
Yeah, isn't that the truth? He was a special athlete right from the very beginning. Brief sports star in high school. Could have played college football if he wanted to. those baseballs.
You just don't see many athletes like that come around.
That's a high chopper. Cody Ash is going to have to hurry. Strong throw across the diamond. He's called safe. Alan Porter calls him safe. I don't know. First glance, I thought maybe he was out. Here comes Ryan Sandberg to the top step. He's going to have a conversation with Alan Porter. Looked to me like he had beaten him by about a half a step. But
I think it was a little closer than we all thought. I thought he was out too, but tell you what, he hustled down that line.
All right, take another look. And yep, he's in there. Good call. Good call by Porter. Larry Bowie, you see there in the background of AJ Burnett on the phone, but gave him one of those. We don't know. So they're going to take a little more time. You see, Larry's not exactly sure. It was pretty close, so they're going to take a look at it. Why not? Bowie threw up the 6 fingers and said, hey, you know, it's the 6th inning. We might as well use our challenge at this point. I do think it was probably a good call by Porter. First glance.
What do you guys think?
Looked like maybe they got him, but take another look at the replay here. Lucas really busting it down the line. This angle's a little bit better. Foot is, wow, it doesn't get any closer than that. I'm going to reserve judgment and wait till they tell us what happened. And Joe West just gave the signal. He was safe. It was confirmed, they say, so they saw enough to see that he was safe. So Ed Lucas is safe on a base hit. Cody Ashley did just about everything he could on that play.
Well, and you look now after the play stands, you give Jeff Baker a lot of credit for hustling to third base.
Yeah, real nice. Yep.
I mean, it's still, there's 2 outs. There's still a force play at second base, but you can score far more time, many different ways from third than you can from second base.
We'll replay to 45 seconds. First pitch to Echeverria is low for a ball. It's 1-0. So once again, Marlins find themselves with a runner in scoring position. Cole Hamels has been able to wiggle himself out of these jams so far. See if he can do it again here on the top of the 6th.
Well, and you have a base open, and you've got the pitcher on deck.
Exactly right. That ball's inside, so it's 2-0. And you would think being careful with Echeverria. He's 1 for 2 tonight.
You know, at this point, I'm thinking, why don't you just walk him?
Well, remember, Alvarez is a fairly decent hitting pitcher.
I get it, but he hasn't seen, you know, the cutter, the curveball, you know.
That pitch is lofted into right field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So there you go. Run's going to score as Baker comes across, and that makes it 1-0. And Cole Hamels challenged him, and Echeverria makes him pay.
And he just fights off a fastball in. He just muscles it over the outstretched left arm of Chase Utley for a single to drive in Jeff Baker on the previous play that went from first to third on an infield single.
Now, sometimes it's the little things in baseball, and tip your cap to Jeff Baker for hustling.
He probably still scores if he's going on contact, but maybe there's a play at home plate.
Yeah, that was not all that deep. So now that's Henderson Alvarez will step in with runners on first and second. First pitch to Alvarez is inside for a ball. So at this point, get out of this inning with the 1 run and hope that your offense can help you out. It's got to be Cole Hamels thinking. Pitch is swung on and fouled at the plate. It's 1-1.
That last pitch was Cole Hamels' 100th pitch of the game.
6th inning, and that one is grounded to short. Galvis is up with it. He'll go across the diamond, and Howard get the out. But the Marlins were able to break through for the first run of this game. Right now they lead at 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or shop honda.com. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com today to find out. Toyota, let's go places. So the Marlins on top of the Phillies here as we head to the bottom of the sixth. 1-0. 9 hits for the Marlins, 1 run. 5 hits for the Phillies. Nothing to show for it yet. Cody Ashley, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard set to face Henderson Alvarez this inning. Alvarez has been good, Jamie, in this game. Not a surprise. I mean, this guy, he's an all-star this year for the first time, age 24. Pitched a no-hitter last year in the final game of the season. But I would imagine the Marlins are very happy to see him pitch this well. He's coming off of his last start. He had missed his last start. Start previous to that, he had to leave in the 3rd inning because of a strained oblique. He wasn't able to get very deep in that game, so they kept him out for 1 start and then kind of give him clearance to pitch tonight, and he has shown no ill effects from that oblique injury. So,
well, again, talking about fastball usage, 19 at bats coming into this at bat with Cody, 14 ending with a fastball.
How about that? Just 64 pitches as we sit here in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 to Cody Ashley, who swings through that one. It's 1-2.
It just goes to show you the importance of using your fastball and being able to move it around the strike zone and sprinkling in off-speed pitches to offset that.
Foul ball down the first baseline.
You see, I've watched so many games this year. 2nd time, 3rd time around the order, all we see are breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. And here's a guy that he's got an above average fastball, but he's not afraid to throw it.
He misses with that one. It's 2-2 now to Cody Ashley. Fastball, slider, changeup, as you pointed out.
And then that slow, loopy curveball that he flips up there once in a blue moon.
It is in the 50s. I asked Cody Ashley before the game today if he thought he'd see that pitch. He said, "I'm aware of it. I know it's possible." It's got to be difficult. You sit here with a 2-2 count on you, and you think, "All right, he's probably going to come with me at the fastball." But what if? This is there. It's 3-2 now to Cody Ashley. So good at bat by Cody. Seeing some pitches. Phillies need base runners as they trail this game 1-0. Time is called. Ashley batting in the 2-hole for the first time, Jamie, in his career. He's never in his major league career. As he swings and hits that one down the left field line, and it's slicing foul. In fact, he's never batted higher than 5th in a major league lineup until tonight. What are the benefits of getting a guy like Cody into that 2-hole?
I think you'll see more fastballs.
Yeah.
And that's, you saw what happened when Chooch, early in the season when Reno put Chooch in. I mean, he kind of ignited the offense.
That one's bounded to first base. Alvarez over covering first, so Cody Ashley is the first out of the inning. Well, if you're 30 years old or older, here's your chance of a lifetime on January 21st to the 25th in Clearwater, Florida. Your chance to be a part of Phillies fantasy camps. The package includes hotel accommodations. You practice with and get instruction from baseball legends such as Greg Luzinski, John Kruk, Mike Lieberthal, Mickey Morandini, Bob Boone, of course the commissioner, Larry Anderson at the Carpenter Complex. Fantasy game versus the legends at Bright House Field, the Phillies uniform, and so much more. You can go to Phillies.com or call now for information, 610-520-3400. And you better hurry because space is limited, and that sells out every single year. That is a fun week. As Chase Utley steps in, takes that fastball over for a strike. It's 0-1. We mentioned at the beginning of the program, Jamie, that Chase has been pretty good against the Marlins this year. There you see his numbers, 10 RBIs, 2 home runs. He lines that one down the right field line, and it's cut off nicely, but Utley going to try for 2, and it's fumbled out there. Look at Utley, never even stops. He's going to slide into third. Chase Utley with some heads-up base running. Lucas bobbled the ball out there in right field. He got on it quickly. He was able to cut it off before it got to the wall. Thought maybe he was going to have a chance at second. I think he glanced up, realized that Utley was on his horse, and then he bobbled it. So great base running by Chase Utley, and he's able to take advantage of it.
And here's again, Chase is real quick sometimes to that ball in. As you said, Lucas got over there quickly, thought he had it. The ball ended up getting by him. I think he kind of took his eye off of it, looking to see where Chase was. And Chase aggressively gets to third base quite easily.
Well, that'll bring up Ryan Howard now with 1 out and a runner on third, so the Phils have a chance to even this one up. Scoring on that one is a double for Chase Utley, and then an error on the right fielder Lucas, allowing him to go to third. So double E9 for scoring at home. It's 1-0 to Ryan Howard. He's 1 for 2. Single back in the 4th inning. He lofts that one down the left field line, but it's going to be foul. So it's 1-1. Fly ball's all you need right here to score Chase Utley and tie this one up.
Yeah, I'd like to see a good at bat right here from Ryan, and get himself a sacrifice fly, or drive a ball through a gap, or hit the ball hard through the infield somewhere. Big run right here with the way Cole's pitching.
That's right.
And the way Alvarez is pitching.
Swung on and missed. So it's 1-2 to Ryan Howard. Marlon Byrd waits on deck. Chase still trying to catch his breath. He's got a pretty good lead off of third. Here's the pitch. That one's no swing, says the third base umpire, Marty Foster. Take a look. He held up. It's 2-2 now. Ryan Howard.
If you recall, in his first at bat, he got to a 3-2 count, and he chased a changeup for strike 3.
2-2 pitch. Upstairs for a ball. It's 3-2.
So a slider down for ball 2, a fastball up for ball 3. You think they stay up for the fastball, or they go something soft down, or run a fastball down and away?
Mike Redmond has brought his infield in at this point.
Going in.
Swing and a miss. He gets Ryan Howard chasing. Now the ball out of the strike zone. Howard goes down swinging, so that's the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Marlon Byrd. Down and away.
Tailing changeup, down and away. You see the catcher, Saltalamacchia, catch it backhanded and kind of drag it down to the ground.
Well, that'll bring up Marlon Byrd. He was hit by a pitch his last at bat. 0 for 1 on the evening. Chase Utley down at third. Phil's hoping to tie this one up here in the bottom of the 6th. Take a base hit from Marlon Byrd. Oh, or that. Pass ball. That one gets through the legs of Saltalamacchia. Just like that, Chase Utley comes in to score the tying run. We talked about Saltalamacchia and his defense. That one went right through the 5-hole.
We'll take it.
Take another look. It was in the dirt, but
slider down. He got down there, but he pulled his glove up, and you're right, Murph. Right through the 5-hole.
It's a tough play for a catcher, but with a runner on third base, you want him to make that. So now 2 outs for Marlon Byrd, and the count is now 2-0 to him. Nobody on base. A run across for the Phillies. We're all tied up here at 1. Pitch is over for a strike. It's 2-1.
Let's go back to that double to Chase Utley. If he stops at second base, he's now standing on third base with 2 outs.
Much like
it's the little things, yeah. Murph.
Jeff
the
Baker.
Little things.
Jeff Baker did it in the top of the 6th. Chase Utley able to do it in the bottom of the 6th for the Phils. That one's fouled back.
And I believe when you're struggling to score runs or you're not able to score a lot of runs, those little things really stand out. And again, we talked about the young kid sitting on the bench. What a great example Chase just set with that at bat, his base running, and his alertness to score on that wild pitch.
Here's hoping J.P. Crawford's still watching.
Oh, I'm sure he is somewhere.
I'm sure he is. Marlin fouls that one back to the right, up into the Hall of Fame level. You had asked JP the best advice he got so far, and it was go out there and play hard every game, every play, every at bat, every inning.
Respect the game, respect your opponent, but play the game of baseball.
That's a good message to have. Marlon Byrd, for the second time tonight, is hit by a pitch, and he's overly pleased about that, but he'll take his base.
Fastball that runs in. Looks like he gets him right on that pad he's got on his elbow.
Yeah.
The reason he's got it.
You know, Marlin's a guy, as you talked about after he got hit in the face, he's talking about having to stay in there. But he is a guy that likes to dive out over the plate. He's going to get hit by his fair share of pitches, and he's gotten hit by 2 tonight. So that'll bring up Dom Brown. It's 1 for 2. Singled. Flew out. Gets that one down the first base line. Foul. Dominic, 232 on the season. Took a tough hop away from the ball game. The 0-1 pitch swung on and hit into the hole between shortstop and third for a base hit. Dom Brown's second of the night. Bird's going to have to stop at second. Nice piece of hitting by Dom Brown going the other way. So now 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Carlos Ruiz will step to the plate. Tough night for Carlos at the dish so far. He's grounded into 2 double plays.
Well, he can make up for it all right here with a base hit.
Yeah, he can. Two double plays tonight. How about 5 double plays in the last 8 games for Carlos Ruiz? That's a trend he would like to break. The 1-0 pitch. The dirt. It's 2-0. Freddie Galvis waits on deck. Low pitch, ground ball to shortstop. Tough play, but right in front, and he's able to feed McGee is Echeverria, and he's able to get the final out at third base. But the Phils get 2 hits, and they do score a run on the wild pitch. We're all tied up at 1.
well. Pitching and good base running has been the story tonight here at Citizens Bank Park as the Marlins and Phillies are all tied up here as we head to the top of the 7th, 1-1. Echeverria has the RBI single for the Marlins in the top of the 6th inning. And Chase Utley having a good night, 2 for 3. He has the run scored. He scored on that wild pitch in the bottom half of the 6th inning. That's where we are, tied up at 1. It's our local Honda dealers game summary. Cole Hamels is having a few laughs out there on the mound. It's one of those nights, I guess. And the first pitch is bunted. Hamels up with it quickly. Nice play by Cole Hamels, fielding his position well. First out of the inning as Yelich is retired on the bunt. Jamie, always good when a pitcher can field their position, and Hamels does it just fine.
It's great. He gets to that ball. He stays down. He turns his body, gets his hips open, makes an easy throw to Ryan Howard, and makes a potential tough play look like an easy play.
Yelich was bunting for a base hit there. It wasn't a very good bunt. Right back at Cole Hamels. I'll bring up Donovan Solano, who's struck out his last 2 at-bats, looking, grounded out to short in his first at-bat. Mike Adams warming up in the bullpen. Jake Diekman was up a little bit last inning. He's sat back down. Just pitch to Solano. It's high for a ball. 92-mile-per-hour fastball. It'll be Solano, then Casey McGee face Hamels here in the 7th. Pitches over the inside corner for a strike. It's 2-1. I think you really got to like the way Cole Hamels is getting the ball, getting inside, and firing.
Well, I mean, he's given up 9 hits tonight. I just looked up and like 9 hits, but he's kind of spread them out.
Yeah. Well, that one is lofted to center field. Ben Revere comes in, makes the catch. So 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. And Jamie, these lucky fans are today's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank, good banking is good citizenship. So those knit caps given out by Cabrini College tonight. Always a hot giveaway item here at the ballpark. Always here in September. Got a couple of those in my coat closet at home. One gets away from Hamels. 1-0.
Oh, and even giving up 9 hits tonight, Cole has made some really quality pitches and gotten some big outs when he's needed to get them.
McGee fouls that one off. He's gotten himself into a little bit of trouble, but we mentioned some pretty good defense, most notably by Cody Ashley. Got McGee out at home plate earlier in the game, and also some double plays have helped him out as well, so he's been able to battle. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside for a ball. It's 2-1. Swung on and missed. He doesn't get cheated when he swings, does he?
No, he doesn't. Usually the ball comes off his bat quite hard. He threw a fastball previously, pretty much in that same location, and then followed it up with a changeup.
Devastating. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Ground ball to Galvis. Big hot over to Ryan Howard for the 3rd out of the inning. So the top of the 7th is an easy one for Cole Hamels. And we'll head to the bottom of the 7th. We're all tied up at 1. Park as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Freddie Galvis, first batter to face Alvarez here at the bottom of the 7th. 91 pitches for Henderson Alvarez. Breaking ball's over for a strike. It's 1-1. Ball low. It's 2-1. Freddie Galvis. We mentioned that Galvis had kind of found his way in the Pirates series, which was a good sign. And, getting consistent at bats is going to certainly help him. Never easy when you're coming off the bench sporadically and trying to get the offensive game going.
Well, he got some pitches that he could handle. They were pitches kind of in the middle of the zone, middle of the plate. And he was able to drop the head on them and drive a few balls.
We'll list that one out in center field. Ozuna has a beat on it. And he makes the catch. First out of the inning. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. This photo is coming from a Phillies fan in Glenside. Ixnevic at Ixnevic on Twitter. It is just his man cave. That's not a bad looking bar. Maybe that's a Moyer jersey. Can't tell. Tweet your photo to hashtag Philly fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. It's a good place to go have a beer after the game. Maybe we'll get an invite. No?
You never know.
You never know. There's one out. Darren Ruff is in to pinch hit for Cole Hamels. So Hamels' line is done. 7 innings, 9 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 1 walk and 6 strikeouts. So once again, a quality start for Cole Hamels. 111 pitches, 72 of them were strikes. Ruff swings over the top of that one. It's 1-1. Jake Diekman back up in the pen, as is Kenny Giles for the Phils. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Darren Ruff. Swung on, ground ball to third base. Picked up by McGee and over. Baker at first for the second out. So 2 outs now in the bottom of the 7th. And back up to the top of the order. Ben Revere steps to the plate tonight. Revere's still looking for his first hit of the evening. 0 for 3, a fly out, the fielder's choice, and the ground out. First pitch is over for a strike. Mike Dunn starting to warm up for the Marlins down in their bullpen. Revere fouls that one down the left side. So Alvarez is ahead. Ben Revere 0-2. Swung on, ground ball to short. Echeverria, Chargers, goes across. Diamond to Baker for the 3rd out of the inning. So Alvarez gets him going 1-2-3. We'll head to the top of the 8th. We're all tied up at 1.
Nissan. Get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Top of the 8th, all tied up, 1 apiece. 9 hits for the Marlins, 7 hits for the Phillies. And the new pitcher for the Phils will be Ken Giles. Going in to try to keep this right where it is. Ken Giles' numbers on the year in 38 games, 3-1 with an ERA of 1.13, 9 walks, 57 strikeouts. See that 1 home run allowed? We remember that was on his very first appearance, the very first batter he faced.
I'll tell you what, those are some impressive numbers for a rookie. And love watching him pitch. Love the way he works, goes about his business. He is all business out on the mound.
He's off the mound. He's a really likable kid, and we've both gotten a chance to chat with him. But you're right. When he steps onto that mound, onto that pitching rubber, nothing seems to faze him, and he's got blinders on.
Going back to what you said about Cole, 19 starts with 3 runs or less. Let's add
20.
1 more to it and make it 20.
He has been on one terrific roll, and it's just a shame that the run support hasn't been there for him, but it's been one of those years for that. I talk about it all the time. It happens, and it seems to latch on to one pitcher in a year and stick with them, and it's been Cole's year for that. So, you can't take away what Cole Hamels has been able to do this season. Just go past that win-loss record. It's been really spectacular.
But you see a lot of bright things, a lot of good things, a lot of positives. If you look at the whole season, if you look at wins and losses, they're not there. But there's a lot of positive things that you can pull out of this season.
And Giles gets Ozuna swinging for the first out of the inning, so another strikeout to Ken Giles. And right now Leslie's standing by with the Major League Notebook. Take it away, Leslie.
Yes, Murph, the Major League Notebook sponsored by Gwynedd Mercy University. Orioles first baseman Chris Davis has been suspended 25 games after testing positive for amphetamines, specifically Adderall. He previously had a therapeutic use exemption, but that exemption ran out. He has 26 home runs this year, but just 5 in his last month. Davis's teammates rallied around the news, and they took Game 1 of the day-night doubleheader against the Yankees in walk-off fashion. Jimmy Paredes, with a pinch hit, 2-out, 2-run double in the bottom of the 11th, moved them to 10.5 games up. Their magic number right now is 7 to clinch the AL East. And in the NL West, there is no love lost between the Dodgers and the Giants, and those two start a 3-game set in the City by the Bay tonight. And this one, last time they faced off at AT&T Park, went to the Dodgers. They swept that 3-game set, took over the lead in the NL West at that time, and they have not relinquished that lead. The Dodgers currently lead the division by 2 games. San Francisco holding possession of the first wild card spot. Murph?
All right, thank you, Leslie. Yeah, those playoff races, the one out west is going to come down to the wire. It has been terrific to watch, and it'll be interesting to see if the Dodgers can hold on and hold off the San Francisco Giants. His second out is reported by strikeout for Ken Giles
On 6 pitches.
Yeah,
It's not that easy, folks. It's not, really.
it's hard to do the Major League Notebook when he's pitching because it happens so quick. So Jared Saltalamacchia is now the batter. It's 0-1 to him on 7 pitches. Make that 0-2 on 8. Why not finish it off, right?
You know what? Throw this one and close your eyes. See what happens.
Well, he has retired in the last 22 batters he's faced. 11 of them have been strikeout victims. Let's see if he can make it 12 right here. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and ground ball to Chase Utley. That'll work too. 4-3 for the putout. Ken Giles comes in and has another easy inning. We are headed to the bottom of the 8th. The Phils looking to take the lead. We're all tied up here at 1 apiece.
To by your local Hyundai dealers. And Jamie, what a play by Cody Ashley in the fourth.
Here in the fourth inning, Cole's in a jam. Cole makes a great pitch. Cody Ashley goes to his right, makes a great play to Choo-Choo. Takes the lane away, gives it back, makes a great tag on McGee. And that is the Hyundai defensive play of the game.
And it was a big one. Here's Cindy Webster, marketing director, CBS Radio here in Philadelphia. She's got good seats.
Wonder who she knows.
Cindy Webster knows just about everybody. There's your score here in the bottom of the 8th. It's 1-1. Ken Giles on the bench after another terrific inning of work for him. Speaking of terrific work, Henderson Alvarez's day is done. Went 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 1 run. No walks and 4 strikeouts through 101 pitches, 64 of them strikes. And the new pitcher for the Miami Marlins is Mike Dunn. 6 foot, 208-pounder out of Farmington, New Mexico. He's been good for the Marlins this year. The lefty has 10-6 with a 3.35 ERA in 69 games for them. First to face him will be Cody Ashley. First pitch from Dunn is over for a strike. There you see his numbers. Opponent's batting just .215 against Dunn.
He's having himself a fine year.
Swung on a miss. So Dunn's quickly ahead of Cody Ashley, 0-2. Lefty winds and swing and a miss, and you got Ashley on strikes. So that's the first out of the inning here in the top of the 8th. One down. Gonna bring up Chase Utley. Pretty nasty pitch right here.
Cody Ashley got a steady diet of sliders, all 3 of them quality sliders, and that third one ran off the plate. Not a whole lot Cody could do with that, and he couldn't hold up.
There's a reason why lefties are batting just .206, I think it was, against him. So there you see Chase Utley's numbers against Dunn. He's had some success, 5 for 18. He's got a home run against him. First pitch to Utley is outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Ryan Howard waits on deck. 1-1 ball game here in the 8th. Miss. 1-1. He scored the only run for the Phils back in the 6th inning. 2 for 3 on the night. Swing and a miss on that one. It's 1-2. Take a look at the Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. The Braves with a 1-0 lead over the Rangers in the 5th inning. See Atlanta, we told you at the beginning of the show, just 2 games out of that National League wild card spot. They have been struggling, but they've got the lead on the Rangers right now. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Low for a ball. It's 2-2.
You look at the defensive lineup. The Marlins have Chase played pretty much straight up throughout the whole field, except for Echeverria at second base has played in just a shade up the middle. And you see a lot of teams put a lot of funky shifts on when they're facing Chase, but the Marlins choose not to in this situation.
We were reading today, Scott Francie was pointing out today, the Marlins do put the shift on a lot, and they have a lot this season, and they're one of the better teams at taking away hits. So they've got their research, and Mike Redmond and his staff think that this is the best defense for Chase Utley. With nobody on, they can do just about anything they wanted right now. And you see Echeverria, as Jamie pointed out, shaded over towards that second base bag.
Now with 2 strikes, Ozuna has moved a little bit towards left field.
And here's the 3-2 pitch. It's outside for a ball, so Chase Utley draws the walk, and he's a base runner here in the bottom of the 8th. Fans coming to the Goya Latino family celebration when the Phillies host the Braves at 7:05 on Saturday, September 27th are encouraged to bring for donation Goya food products. The food drive will benefit Phil Abundance by helping with their effort to help families in need within the Latino community. Goya Foods has once again pledged to donate a minimum of 5,000 pounds of food to match the collected food products. That will be September 27th when the Atlanta Braves are here in town. 1 on, 1 out. Ryan Howard is the batter. Howard 1 for 3. He singled, struck out twice. First pitch to Howard is outside for a ball. With that walk, the Phillies are walking, and Independence Blue Cross wants to remind you to get active and get walking too. Independence Blue Cross, live fearless. A.J. Ramos starting to warm up in the Miami Marlins bullpen. Utley has his lead off first. Here's the pitch to Howard. Ball. It's 2-0 to Ryan Howard. All of a sudden, Mike Dunn is in a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone. You see Howard's career numbers versus Dunn. Very similar to Utley's. He's had some success. Inside for a ball. Don't want that one. There you see Ramos warming up with the right-hander Marlon Byrd on deck. So the count is 3-0 to Ryan Howard. Utley leads off first. Over for a strike. 3-1. Howard taken all the way.
Like to see him walk him right here, and Chase just jog down to second and keep right on going to third base.
With that shift.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to get a little nonchalant right here.
If anybody would think about that, it's Chase Utley. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Inside for a ball. He walked it.
McGee, he's right on it.
Give McGee some credit. He thought about that too. So Chase heads down to second. Ryan down to first. McGee back to cover third base, and that's probably going to do it for Mike Dunn. Saltalamacchi is out to have a chat.
Shift or no shift, you can't defense a walk.
No, you cannot. That's exactly what you don't want to see when you bring a guy in, a lefty specialist. Like Mike Dunn. Tony Gwynn has just replaced Ryan Howard down there at first base. So Tony Gwynn Jr., the pinch runner down at first. And here comes Mike Redmond. So we're going to have a pitching change. Bird's been announced. We're going to see A.J. Ramos come into this ball game, I would imagine. Redmond takes the slow walk out to the mound. Talk it over, and there's the move for the right-hander. A.J. Ramos will come into the ball game. So there's a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. 2 on and 1 out. We'll be back right after this. And 1 out. A.J. Ramos, the new pitcher for the Marlins, and Sunday at 1:35 versus the Marlins. Your chance to fans 14 and under, compliments of New Jersey Education Association, the Fanatic Oyo mini figurine and buildable dugout set. It's free to fans 14 and under that day. Plus the Baseball Tomorrow Fund, and Phillies will be collecting new and used baseball and softball equipment at the gates to benefit Pitch In for Baseball, spreading the game of baseball to needy children both in Philadelphia and throughout the world. You can order your tickets at Phillies.com. Right-hander A.J. Ramos is the new pitcher. Look at that record, 6-0, an ERA of 2.12. 39 walks, 67 strikeouts for Ramos in 61 games so far this season. The right-hander Marlon Byrd will be the first to face him. 2 on, 1 out. First pitch to Byrd. He's grounded to short. Echeverria to second for 1 and over to first. A double play. 1 pitch and a 6-4-3 double play for A.J. Ramos. And the Marlins once again wiggle out of danger. So we're going to head to the top of the ninth. Tied up at 1. Team scored in the 6th inning. Their 1 run. We've got some changes for the Phillies. Ryan Howard out of the game, was removed for the pinch runner. Maikel Franco is now in at first base, and the new pitcher for the Phils, Jonathan Papelbon, appearing in his 62nd game. He's 2-2 with an ERA of 1.61 in his 61 1/3 innings pitched. 14 walks, 58 strikeouts. It has been a real solid year for Jonathan Papelbon. He'll come in here not in a safe situation, but hoping to keep the score the same way. Get the Phils to the bottom of the ninth. Jamie, this last play, the 3rd double play for the Phils grounding into today.
Well, allows this play to be made so easily as Endy's Echeverria gets to that ball so quickly and gets rid of it so quickly, makes a great feed to Solano, and it turns a tough play into a very easy looking play.
He got him by a step, Marlon Byrd by a step, and as I said, the 3rd double play to end an inning that the Phils have grounded into tonight. Part of the reason why they have just 1 run across. So Papelbon in, trying to keep this right where it's at and get the offense back out on the field for the bottom of the ninth. He'll face Jordany Valdespin for the Marlins, pinch hitting. His first at bat tonight. Valdespin, 224 on the year, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. The 0-1 pitch, swung and missed. It's 0-2 to Valdespin.
The bottom dropped out of that slider.
It was a good one. Papelbon gets a sign from Carlos Ruiz. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Line drive to center field. Ben Revere gets turned around a little bit, but he's got a beat on it. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Reminder coming up after the game, a full recap. Plus Marlon Anderson gives his analysis on tonight's series opener between the Phillies and Marlins. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post-Game Live. Sure, Marlon hoping that the Phils can hold them here and get this one finished in the bottom of the ninth. As are we. Echeverria, who started that double play to end the 8th inning, steps into the box now to face Papelbon. First pitch is fouled straight back. It's 0-1. Garrett Jones waits on deck for the Marlins. He'll be pinch hitting for Ramos. Pap's got the sign. The 0-1 pitch. Foul back. There's Jones. We saw the video last night when the bench is cleared. He was the first man off the bench. Having a word or two with Mike Fiers. Here's the 0-2 pitch. High for a ball. It's 1-2. Fouled straight back. It's still 1-2 to Adeni Echeverria. In the dirt. It's 2-2. Chris Hatcher, their closer, Steve Cishek, is warming up out there in the Marlins pen. Cishek, I should say. Papelbon from the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him. Strikeout for Jonathan Papelbon, the second out of the inning here in the top of the ninth. Fooled him with the off-speed pitch.
Yeah, back-to-back sliders. That one was a little bit softer than the previous one. It was a little further away, and Echeverria just couldn't stay back long enough to keep that ball in play.
Yeah, that's a pitch that we started seeing Jonathan Papelbon use last year, taking a little bit more off of that off-speed pitch, and it's been very effective for him, and it worked right there. So Garrett Jones will pinch hit for Ramos. And he swings at the first pitch and pops it straight up. Carlos Ruiz has the mask off, throws it, and squeezes it with one hand. Wow. You'll talk to him about that, but the out is recorded. Carlos Ruiz gets it. Nice inning from Jonathan Papelbon. So we head to the bottom of the ninth with the Phils a chance to walk it off with a win. We're all tied up at 1. of the game, and we jump to the 6th inning. Echeverria fists one off the inside out and drops it in front of Marlon Byrd to plate the only run for the Marlins tonight. And on the flip side, in the bottom of the 6th, Jamie, Chase Utley scurries home after the wild pitch by Henderson Alvarez. Really the only mistake Alvarez made tonight. They are your W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
And that run that was set up by the Phillies was a hustling double and an error in right field. Chase getting to third base on that error to set up that wild pitch.
Well, you see Chris Hatcher's the new pitcher for the Marlins. 0-2 with an ERA of 3.31. 10 walks, 52 strikeouts. Opponent's batting .260 against him. Jake Diekman is starting to throw again in the pen for the Phils. He's been up twice already. He'll be up for the 3rd time. Guessing we'll see him if needed, but the Phils are hoping that's not necessary. As Don Brown will step in here in the bottom of the 9th. A little life in the crowd here at Citizens Bank Park. Not sure if that's Don Brown's new walk-up song or Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses.
I'll take it.
I think they were just trying to pump the crowd up. It worked. Brings him back to high school. Here's the first pitch to Don Brown. Swung on and hit well to right center field. Going back on it is Valdespin, who just checked into the game, and he's got that one at the track. Just missed by Don Brown as he hit that one into the gap in right center field. But for Danny Valdespin, it's a nice route on that. He's able to make the play, similar to the play that Marlon Byrd made earlier in this game. Right off the bat, that one had a chance.
We had a 1-pitch out to end the previous inning. I was hoping maybe a 1-pitch to home run to end the game right here.
Would have been okay. You see midway through the track. I mean, that's almost the deepest part of the ballpark where Brown hit that. It looked like he got that just off the end of the bat. So just a long out for the first out here in the bottom of the 9th. Carlos Ruiz will step in. Ruiz has grounded into 2 double plays and grounded into the 6-5 fielder's choice his last time up. Fouls that one in front of the Marlins dugout. Quickly 0-2 to Carlos Ruiz. Outside for a ball. 1-2. Chris Hatcher from Kinston, North Carolina. One of 2 guys in the Marlins pen from Kinston, North Carolina. Carson Camps being the other one. Outside for a ball. It's 2-2. Played his college ball, UNC Wilmington, and before getting drafted. See Freddie Galvis waits on deck.
Hatcher, a 3-pitch pitcher, fastball 94-96, slider 85-88, changeup 86-89.
He's got his sign. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's over for a called 3rd strike, and Carlos knew it. He'll go down looking for the 2nd out of the inning, and it's going to leave it up to Freddie Galvis to keep this one going. Galvis 0 for 3 on the night. Ground out, strike out, fly out. Fouls that one straight back. It's 0-1 to Freddie Galvis. Jimmy Rollins still listed as day-to-day with that hamstring injury, but Rhino said yesterday he was progressing pretty good, better than they thought, so that's good news. We'll see him before the end of the weekend. It's Galvis swings and misses. If not, I'm sure we'll see him at the beginning of the road trip, San Diego.
A lot of bumps and bruises when you get to this part of the season.
That is the truth. 0-2 pitch over for a called 3rd strike, and Galvis Goes down for the second time looking. We've got some free baseball coming up here in Philadelphia as Chris Hatcher able to set down the side in the bottom of the ninth. We're headed to the top of the 10th, all tied up at 1. To the top of the 10th. A beautiful Friday night in Philadelphia, so extra innings, and both teams have played their fair share this year. The Marlins have already played 20 extra inning games. They are 9-11. The Phils right behind them at 19. They are 9-10. One of those two teams is going to have their 10th extra inning win tonight. Here's hoping it's the Phils. Jake Diekman is the new pitcher for the Phillies here at the top of the 10th. 4-4, a 3.74 ERA for Deke. 32 walks, 92 strikeouts on the season. The numbers with runners in scoring position tonight, Jamie, as you would expect in a 1-1 game. Not very good for either team. 8 men left on base for Miami. The Phils left 7. The Phils are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
Not good.
That'll do it. Christian Yelich will be the first to face Jake Diekman. First pitch is over for a strike. Yelich is 0 for 3. He did walk and is back in the 5th inning. Swung on and fouled off the plate. It's 0-2 to Christian Yelich. Phils have done a nice job keeping this guy quiet. I told you he came in one of the hotter hitters in the National League, and it's been quiet so far. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Jake Diekman gets the first strikeout of the night for him here in the top of the 10th. 1 out in the top of the 10th.
Here you see after 2 fastballs, high slider, and Yelich just swings right through.
See the spin of that ball right there, and yeah, bet you that looked pretty good coming in, but it was tough to catch up to when it's up there like that. And even though it's a slider, it was still coming in there. So first down of the inning is recorded via strikeout. Donovan Solano will step in. Solano 0 for 4 tonight. First pitch to him is high for a ball. It's 1-0.
I'll tell you what, the Marlins have a very bright future ahead of them with all these young, good-looking players that they have. They're learning how to win right here at the major league level.
They sure are. Solano fouls that one. And you think about Yelich, who made his debut last season. Both the middle infielders, Echeverria, Solano, both young guys. Giancarlo Stanton, young guy.
Ozuna
in center field. Done a nice job down there.
Henderson Alvarez,
24 years old. Jake Diekman falls behind. Solano 2-1. Pitches outside for a ball. It's 3-1. The Marlins will be a team to be reckoned with, that's for sure, over the next couple of years. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swung on, ground ball. Hard to the left is Freddie Galvis. Picks it and throws to Franco. Out at first base. Nice play by Freddie Galvis with good range to his left. Ball took a nice hop up to Freddie Galvis. Look at our colleague Amy Fidule's tweeting tonight. 2 St. Joe's guys in the booth for the Phillies tonight on CSN Philly. Heard the Hawk will never die. Thank you, Amy. That's right. The Hawk will never die, right, Jamie?
That's right.
Proud to represent the Hawks up here tonight. 2 outs here in the top of the 10th inning. Casey McGee steps in. First pitch to McGee was over for a strike. McGee was part of the big play back there in the 4th inning when Cody Ashley made a nice defensive play, threw him out at the plate to keep the score at 0-0 at the time. Comes out to be a very big play as we play baseball here in the 10th inning. 1-1 pitch, ground ball. Utley slides, picks, steps and throws, and a nice scoop by Franco, and they get the out. Nice play all the way around by Chase Utley and then by Maikel Franco. 4-3, and Jake Diekman records a 1-2-3 inning. And we're headed to the bottom of the 10th. Take another look. Chase Utley almost behind the second base bag. The slide, the plant, the throw, the scoop. And that's a perfect play to end the top of the 10th. We're headed to the bottom. Looking to end this one here at Citizens Bank Park. This is how they ended the top of the 7th inning. What a play by Chase Utley, who continues to play solid defense down there at second. The scoop by Franco, who just entered the game for Ryan Howard late in this one. Get the chance to show his glove over at first base. Beautiful play by the wily veteran and the new call-up, Maikel Franco. So 4-3, and Franco will step to the plate, getting his first at bat of the evening. Takes that first pitch over for a strike. Chris Hatcher is still the pitcher for the Miami Marlins. Dan Jennings is warming up in the Miami bullpen, as is Mike Adams for the Phils. Ball's low. It's 1-1 to Franco. It'll be Franco, then the top of the order, Ben Revere and Cody Ashley. 1-1 pitch, swung on, high chopper to short. Echeverria, the jump throw, and wow. Got a lot on that throw and gets Franco by 2 steps. Thought that one would be a little bit closer, but Echeverria makes the quick transition from glove to throwing hand. Rifles one over to first base. 1 out. It's a good defense tonight, Jay.
Yeah, Indy's is very athletic.
Look at this. I can't believe how much he was able to get on that throw.
Derek Jeter-like, huh?
Very much so.
Although Derek usually does it from the hole.
Good play. So we'll bring up Ben Revere, but Ben Revere is not going to see Chris Hatcher. So Mike Redmond is headed out to make pitch and change. Crowd doesn't like it. He calls for the left-hander Dan Jennings. So we got a pitch and change here at Citizens Bank Park with 1 out here. In the bottom of the 10th inning, Ben Revere will be up when we come back facing Dan Jennings. Season Sunday, September 28th. All the fun and surprises of a traditional Phillies Fan Appreciation Day, including Citizens Bank Park Fathead with the 2015 schedule, free to all fans. You can order your tickets now for that day on Phillies.com. Bottom of the 10th, 1 out. All tied up at 1. Ben Revere will be the batter for the Phils, and he'll face that gentleman, Dan Jennings, 43 games, 0-1 with an ERA under 1, 0.95, 16 walks, 35 strikeouts on the season for Dan Jennings. Native of Berkeley, California. Played his college baseball at Nebraska. He'll face the left-hander Ben Revere. First pitch, breaking ball is over for a strike. It's 0-1. Revere's 0 for 4 tonight. Swings over top of that one. His average has dropped down to 305. Been a tough homestand for Ben Revere. He had been swinging such a hot bat on the road. Hasn't been able to keep it going here at Citizens Bank Park. But a base hit right now would go a long way. Here's the 0-2 pitch in the dirt. It's 1-2. This is Dan Jennings' 44th appearance, Jamie, an ERA under 1. That's a pretty good year for a young man. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, low for a ball. It's 2-2.
There's a number of pitchers out there having some pretty good years, starting pitching and in the relief corps.
It's been a tough year for offenses, pretty much all the way around Major League Baseball. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Inside. Stalemate was set up so far outside. I think that one might have crossed the plate, but he didn't get the call.
You got to reach way back across the plate for that one.
So the count is full to Ben Revere. You just saw Mike Adams warming up in the Phillies pen. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Foul back. Crowd coming alive a little bit. Count full to Ben Revere. This game is just about 3 hours old. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Foul back. I think Ben Revere is going to need some new lumber. Reminder, coming up immediately following this game is Pure Auto Insurance presents Phillies post-game live. Marlon Anderson is standing by patiently, waiting for this one to be over. Be interesting to hear his thoughts on Cole Hamels tonight. And Henderson Alvarez. Both guys, both starting pitchers pitched well. 3-2 pitch swung on and hit down the left field line. It's slicing out of play. So Revere will get another chance. That young man will get a souvenir. How'd that little guy come up with that? Surrounded by all those big guys.
It kind of trickled like that Plinko game. It kind of trickles through, and he's the guy at the bottom.
It all rolls downhill, they say, right? There you go. Nice job by him. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and lined back up the middle for a base hit. So a terrific at bat to Ben Revere, and he's on board with one out here in the bottom of the second. Excuse me, bottom of the 10th. And the second batter.
Feels like the bottom of the second,
yeah,
right?
Feels like we're just getting started. Cody Ashley will step to the plate. Real good at bat from Ben Revere.
Yes, it was. Where did he hit the ball? Back through the middle.
As you pointed out earlier, his first hit of the night. Now, if you're the Marlins, you got to keep your eye on Ben. So Ashley steps in. 1 for 4 tonight. He doubled his first at bat. He swings through that one. He's way back in the first inning. Revere takes his lead off first. The 1 pitch. Stalemate couldn't find it there for a second. It was right underneath, and Ben Revere couldn't go anywhere. It was outside and low for a ball. 43 stolen bases for Ben Revere so far this season. It would be big if Ben Revere could swipe it back here. Put himself in a scoring position. Quick pitch from Dan Jennings there. It's 1-2 to Cody Ashley. Chase Utley waits on deck. Ryan Sandberg sending in some signals. Pete Buchanan down there in the third base box. lays them to Ben Revere and Cody Asche.
Cody Asche looks like he's been in the pull mode today. Looks like he's pulling off of everything, trying to pull everything to right field. He's getting pitched away a lot, especially with a lot of breaking balls.
The 1-2 pitch in the dirt, gets away from Stalemate, but able to keep it in front of him. So Revere has to retreat back to first base, and it's 2-2 now to Cody Asche. Jennings has his sign. Revere leads off first. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and hit well. Deep to right field, and forget about it. That ball is gone! A walk-off home run by Cody Asche. He ends it here in the bottom of the 10th with a 2-run shot. No doubt about it. Jamie, you just said they were working him on the outside. That one kind of crept in, and Cody Asche knew just what to do with it. And he is mobbed at home plate. Nothing like the walk-off home run to send everybody home happy. His second hit of the night, and that was a big one.
Yes, it was. He got looked like a fastball on the plate, drove it out of the ballpark for a 2-run home run for a game winner.
His first career walk-off home run for Cody Asche. He is our Chevrolet player of the game. As the Phils will walk off on this one and win it 3-1. Take another look. Inside part of the plate. No doubt about it. About 10 rows deep. Hit that one. Cody Asche is our player of the game, and he's down on the field with Leslie Goodell. Leslie, take it away.
Yeah, he's got a big smile on his face, too. I bet that one felt pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the whipped cream. That's what I'm waiting for.
So you come into this game, you've only started 5 games this month, and you just really have been in a good rhythm every time you've come in. What's been the difference?
Just being comfortable, I guess. Just being comfortable. More experience. Bring it, baby.
You knew that was coming.
Yeah, that's the best. That's why you play baseball right here.
You're the 5th guy to hit a walk-off home run for this team this year. It's been a joint effort, but today, just to get this win after the way that all these guys pitched today must have been satisfying.
Yeah, it's a good pitcher's battle. Every time we played the Marlins, it's been like this. A run here or there really changes the game. Luckily, it just ended it tonight.
Cody, thank you.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Leslie. Take one more look at, a pretty happy guy coming around third base. Even though he knows he's about to get pummeled at home plate, Cody Asche walks it off his first career walk-off home run. We'll be back with more after this.